Yeah, I got the host access. So this is the session 3 on CI/CD pipeline introduction. So in session 1 and then session 2, we have completed the CI/CD pipeline introduction till Jfrog, isn't it? So however, I'm sharing my screen in a moment of time. I'm just opening the documents. Just give me a moment. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen now. So let us complete the agenda and then the the goal what we should have to achieve through the CI/CD pipeline, and then let us start our pipeline tools. So I'm going to the content CI/CD pipeline tools. In CI/CD pipeline tools, in our last session, we discussed two projects. We discussed, right? Project 1, Jenkins will build the code and then deploy the var file into the var file, meaning any build artifact into the application server. That is one project. Second project is the same artifact will be deploying the Docker. That is the second one we have seen. So from the Jfrog, we will get the artifact and then we will install in the, meaning we will deploy in the Docker. That is what we have seen. So what I'm talking about is in this architecture, right? In this architecture, we discussed in our session 2, the project 2. Project 2 is what? The Jenkins build server will take the source code from the Git repository and then do the building. Then as part of the Maven life cycle, it will, meaning the Jenkins will invoke the SonarQube to check the code quality. Once the code is qualitative, and then the test reports were generated successfully, then Maven will complete the build and then generate the artifact. That artifact will be pushed to the artifactory because of two reasons we have seen, isn't it? Because of the versioning, right? Mainly one reason is the versioning, actually, because to have the different versions of the artifacts to be inside our artifactory. So we are going for this artifactory. Then from the
Sir,
artifact, yes.
Shabia here, sir. Hi. So previously you were writing the running notes. Nowadays you are not updating. So can you please update?
Yeah, definitely. So when it is required, I'll definitely I'll write the running notes. Okay. Now we are just discussing the this one, right? So project 1 and then project 2. Yeah, that is good idea. Even let me write the running notes as well. So usually I will write, but whenever is required, I thought of writing. That's okay. So let us discuss now project 1. This is good idea. So let me discuss the complete flow in the 4 projects. Date is 21st July 2022. Topic is CI/CD pipeline tools. CI/CD pipeline and tools. CI/CD pipeline and tools. So in this CI/CD pipeline and tools, project 1. So what we will do in the project 1? In project 1, deploying the artifact to the application server is what the project 1 title. So in this, what we will do is step 1. Step 1, when the developer will, when the developer's code will be, when the developer's code will be merged, when the developer's code will be merged to the SCM. That means what? Source code repositories. Source code repositories. When the developer's code will be merged to the SCM, I'm talking about this step. So here we have the developers, right? So when these developers, all developers code will be put into this Git repository, that is called SCM, source code repository. That is GitHub, for example, right? So when the developers code will be merged to the SCM, then the hook from GitHub to Jenkins, hook from GitHub to Jenkins will be triggered. So that means what? Notification. So when the Git repository updated with all the developers source code, Git repository will notify the Jenkins, hey Jenkins, I got the updated code. Then when the Jenkins got the hook, right? So step 2, when the Jenkins got the hook request, when the Jenkins got the hook request, Jenkins will go to the source code repository, and from the particular release branch, that means all these developers will put their code into the SCM, isn't it? So let me just close all these things. Just let me close all these things, and let me open the repository. So what I'm exactly talking is, this is the source code repository, right? So this is the source code repository, and this is our project. So we have the branch called dev release 1. Now what will happen? Now what will happen if the hook will be set up here? If the hook will be set up here. So for example, go here and go to the settings. Go to settings. There will be developer settings. There will be hook actually. We can configure that hooks, not notifications, not applications. Let me go to developer settings. Not here. So there will be hook we will configure. Just let me go to settings of this project. So this is the project. Go to security. Not here, for sure not here. Just let me go to somewhere we can set up the hook actually. I will let you know where we can set up it. Let me go to the profile. It definitely not in profile, it seems to be. Just let me go here. Go to the settings only. Settings and account. Let me set up. Check for hook. Yeah, it is not giving us, but what the hook will do is, just let me check this one. Code security and analysis, notifications, accessibility, SSH and GPG. No, I will let you know. Actually, there is one option we will have to configure the hooks to the Jenkins from this from our source code repository. We can configure the hooks to the Jenkins. However, so when we configure a hook to the Jenkins, I will let you know how and where we will configure it. Seems to be just a final try. Let me go to this repositories. Not here. Okay, fine. I will let you know. So this is Medela preclinic application settings. Scroll down somewhere, you can see the hook.
In the left panel, webhooks are there.
So, yeah, correct. This is what I'm talking about. Yes, it is on a particular repository. So on a particular repository, webhooks and add webhook. Perfect. So let me log in. me log in. Yes. So this is the place where we will add our webhook. So payload URL. This URL we will give our Jenkins URL, and then everything is same. Content type and all, everything is same. Just push the event. That means what? When the developers will merge all their code to this repository, then Git will issue a event to this Jenkins. So Jenkins URL we will configure here, and to the Jenkins URL, as soon as this repository will get the merged code, then it will notify to the URL Jenkins. Then Jenkins, in the Jenkins side, let me try to log into my account and then showcase you the sorry, showcase you the Jenkins part. So it is better if we can write all the pipeline projects what we're gonna do clearly. Maybe it will take 1 or 2 sessions, but we will have a track of it, so we can accordingly do the same. Let me go to Mumbai region. In Mumbai region, let me go to EC2 instance. And we already have the CI/CD pipeline set up for the earlier batches. So from that, let me choose one of the Jenkins server to showcase you like how it will pull the source code. This is just for your understanding, right? So how the projects, what projects we will do, just to understand, I'm trying to showcasing you this one. So just let me start it. Just let me start it. So what we need to do, we need to set up the Jenkins master and then the Jenkins worker. Master slave architecture we will set up. The Jenkins setup will be a master slave architecture. What is the benefit of it and why do we need to do it and all we will discuss when we start our Jenkins sessions. However, I just have started this one. So let me copy this public IP address and go here. Just entered 8080. Now Jenkins will be start. Just let us wait for a while. Scroll down. Wait for a while. So just let us wait for a while till the machine up, or else let me click on. Let me go to only the running instances. Just scroll up. Yes, this is what the running instance. Now scroll down. Now scroll down. Yeah, these are the instance details. Just let me scroll up. Instance summary. Copy this public IP address. Now go here. Just try. Yes. Right, it started. Now let me log in. I'm just logging. Yes. So land on the dashboard. Yeah. So these are all the jobs that we have configured for the earlier batch things. Now let us go to this Medilab morning pre-clinic configure. If we can see here, Medilab morning pre-clinic configuration. Let me go there. Somehow this machine is a little slow. Yes. Yes, now we got it. Go to the source code management. Yes. So this is what the repository. Okay. This is what the repository. This is what the Git repository to which the Jenkins is connecting. And in this repository, there is a branch called monolithic-app. So there is a branch called monolithic-app. So this is the branch. So from this branch, it will get the source code as soon as the event come from the as soon as the event come from the hook, webhook, right? When the code will be pushed to this monolithic app branch, then what it will do when the code will be pushed to this branch? Yes, so it will inform to the Jenkins. Then Jenkins will start taking the code from here and by going to this branch. So now what will happen? The Jenkins. So when the Jenkins got the hook request, Jenkins will go to the ACM repo and from the particular release branch. And from the particular release branch, it will pull the source code into Jenkins machine. This is step 2. Now step 3. As the code now we have on the Jenkins machine, right? As the code now we have on the Jenkins machine, once the code is come, then what we are doing here, we are triggering the building of that code using the Maven. So as soon as the source code will come to, as soon as the source code will come to Jenkins machine, as part of the job configuration, Jenkins will invoke the build tool to build the source code. Now if you can see, the source code is building here. So once after the source code is built, then what we are doing here, once after the source code build, we will get the artifact. So this artifact, project 1, what we have to do, so here it is. The source code is built. Once after the source code is built, then what we have to do, then the source code, once it is built, then the SonarQube will also call, and then the code quality will be checked actually. So Jenkins will invoke the build tool to build the source code. So as part of this is the step 3. Now step 4 is what? As part of the Maven goal for code building, as part of the Maven goal for code building, one of the Maven lifecycle phase will invoke the code quality analyzer. That is SonarQube. Now step 5, SonarQube will perform the static code analysis. What is this? Don't worry, I will explain you when the time comes. But SonarQube will perform the code analysis and will check the quality of the code. So if the code is qualitative, then Maven will complete the build, and the build artifact will be created in Jenkins machine. Right, this is the step 5. Step 5 is doing what? So once the SonarQube is perform the quality analysis and then assures the code is qualitative, then the Maven is completing the build. So that artifact, let us deploy in the Tomcat server. That is the project 1. So now step 6. Now let's deploy the artifact in the application server configured on another EC2 mission. So artifact, let us deploy the artifact in the application server configured on another mission. That means what? Here is the Tomcat, and into this Tomcat, let us deploy the code. Right? This is the project one. Any questions in this project one? Are we clear in this project one? The tools cover in this project one are Git, Maven, Jenkins, SonarQube, and this is the tools we'll cover. And then the concepts we'll cover is SSH, passwordless authentication. So these are all the tools, and this is the concepts that will be covered in this. Of course, concepts in the sense the tools also will explain, but this is the concepts we'll use. Otherwise, let me also use the SSH as tool, because we will use publish over SSH tool and passwordless authentication. Sorry. So let me use tools and concepts. Fine. So this is what we will use in our, we will do in our project one. Any questions in this project one? This is project one, not project two, right? Now let me explain you the project two. Any
Sir, when
question?
it comes to Jfrog also
the artifactory. Why it's called an artifact?
Yeah, why it is calling as an artifact is usually any build tool will be coming up with the application, any build tool. For example, Maven or any build tool, if you can see, the application name will be called as an artifact in the terminology of the build tools. Those are build automation tools, basically. For example, if you take Maven, Maven is a build automation tool and project management tool, both it is. So in terms of the Maven automation tool and then the project management tool, once the source code is compressed, isn't it? SRC source code is compressed into another format, then the outcome of this Maven code build is called as an artifact. Why we are calling it as an artifact? Because it is the end output of the complete build process. So if you can see the diagram, there is a lot of build process here. So checkout, build, test, staging, and then production. So there is a lot of build process here. So the outcome, whatever the build process is completed, and then outcome is nothing but the compressed format of the raw source code. So that we call as a artifact in the terminology of the build tools. Got it? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the project one I'm talking about. Now, and project two. Yeah. Any questions?
And from Webhook, means we are from Git, we are raising a Webhook request, right, in order to notify the Jenkins about the code merge, right?
Okay, can you repeat the question?
Okay, what I'm saying is, for webhooks from a particular branch will initiate the webhook process, right, for the Jenkins?
Correct.
And it will notify the Jenkins that the code has been merged by codes have been merged by all the developer, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. That is true. Then when it notified, then Jenkins will go back to Git repository, that means source code repository, and then pull the code.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the project one.
Sir, in the project one, Jfrog artifactory has been covered already, no?
No. In project one, it won't cover, because in project one, there is no need for the artifactory. There is no need of the artifactory in project one, because in project one, we are deploying the artifact in a normal server. So no need of going for the artifactory. But I got your point, because in the demo one and the demo two, I said artifactory we will use, right? But we will use that artifactory in project two. I'll explain. Let me draw the diagram. I already have drawn the diagrams. in our last session, right? Let me try to open them if possible. Let us recall what I have drawn and then what we have discussed. So what I'm saying is, just let me import from my device. Just in case, let me import the project, or else let me draw one more time to get the more quality, not this one. Just go here, open recent and open from. Okay, now let me quickly draw it. Actually seems to be I don't have it. Let me quickly draw it. It won't take much time. So CI/CD project 1, CI/CD project 1. So create. I'm just creating this project and then go here. So let us quickly understand the project 1. Okay, so till here the same diagram I will be copy. I'll copy the same diagram. The same diagram I'll copy, but the same diagram. Let me copy here. Yes, the same diagram. Let me change it to just 50%. Same diagram, right? But what I'm saying is, let us deploy. Let us take one more EC2 machine. Let us take one more EC2 machine. Yes, so let us take one more EC2 machine. In this EC2 machine, let us set up the Tomcat. So in this EC2 machine, let us set up the Tomcat. Now go here. Let me just look for Tomcat 9, or just let me look for an application server in general. So let me just get the so this is what the server. So what we will do is, whatever the artifact that we got from here, that artifact, let us move it directly to this machine. Let us move it to this machine. So that artifact is nothing but var file, isn't it? So just let me get the var icon. So this is the var file. So the outcome of it is what? Var file. So that var file will be generated here on the Jenkins machine, and it will be copied to this EC2 instance. So here you will learn one concept called SSH and passwordless authentication. So this is one EC2 machine. This is another EC2 machine. How two EC2 machines will communicate each other is the concept you will learn here. For that we will use the publish over SSH plugin, and then we will use the passwordless authentication concept, and then we will use the SSH concept. So these concepts we will use here in this project 1. However, in the project 1, let us also set up the SonarQube. Let us also set up the SonarQube in our project 1. Yes, let me paste it here. Sorry. Yes, SonarQube. Now this will be give the reports to the Maven build lifecycle, and then accordingly the build file will come. So this is what the project 1. Now in project 2, let us discuss the Jfrog and then Docker. Publish over SSH is the tool. So is this project 1 is clear for everyone, or any questions you have here? Clear, right?
Sir, actually, you said points wise, right? Can you please make it a points in the diagram, sir, so we can easily understand?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll paste that points in this. Here I will paste those points. Just let me go here. Project 1. Let us just paste here. Project 1. And let me just take the, sorry, my bad. 50%, Control Y. Let me take 75%. Okay, so here, let me take these points, because if I take a screenshot of it, then you will get a project notes plus the project points, all you will get. And this size I will reduce to just 10. Okay, so this is the project 1, and all the points what we discussed, let me paste here in the project 1. Okay, let me just scroll up. Control Z. Yeah, so here it is. Let me paste the concepts, right? Tools and concepts, Git repository and all will be covered. So steps, let me add. These are all the 6 steps. Perfect. And let's not have the underline for all of this.
Sir, which step where we come, where it comes, can you please put the step number, sir, in the diagram? Git, which is the what is the step, and the Jenkins, what is the step, so that we can easily understand, sir.
Let us check the numbers, or else let me type 1. Yes, this is the step 1. So this is the step 1. When the developer's code will be merged to the SCM, GitHub, for example, then the hook from GitHub to Jenkins will be triggered. So as part of this step 1, there will be a hook triggered to here. So when the hook will be triggered, step 2, when the Jenkins got the hook request, Jenkins will go to SCM repo, and from the particular release branch, it will pull the code. So this is the number 2. Now let me get the number 2. Scroll down. Let me get the number 2. Yes, so this is number 2. And let me put it here. Right, so this is the number 2. Then what is number 3? Number 3, as soon as the source code will come to Jenkins machine, as part of the job configuration, Jenkins will invoke the build tool to build the source code. So let us go and then get the number 3. Scroll down. Number 3, let me get. Number 3. Yes, this is number 3. So here it is the number 3. Now what is number 4? As part of the Maven goal for code building, one of the Maven lifecycle phase will invoke the code quality analyzer SonarQube. So that is the number 4. Let us take this number 4. So this is number 4. Isn't it? This is number 4. Now what is number 5? SonarQube will perform the static code analysis and will check the quality of the code. If the quality of the code is qualitative, then Maven will complete the build, and the build artifact will be created. So this build artifact is coming here, right? This is nothing but the step 5. Sorry. So let us take it as a step 5. So this is step 5. Perfect. Now finally, what will happen? Step 6. Now let's deploy the artifact in the application server configured in another EC2 machine. So let us go and then take the step 6. This is the step 6. Right. So step 6 will deploy the var file into our EC2 instance. Makes sense, right? So I believe this is clear for all of you, correct?
Yes, sir.
Great. So fine. So now what I will do is, let me save this. First, let me take a screenshot and then update our nodes. So for that, let me export it as a PDF document. Export and then saved in my local machine. I'm just exporting it. Yes, it exported CI/CD project 1. Let us take the content. Perfect. Right. So this is what the project 1, and this is what the diagram or the lab exercise, what you have to do and what we have to cover. So let me go to our classroom notes. Of course, whoever going to join for the CI/CD pipeline, for them again, I will give the separate classroom, but let me for now add it into the DevOps 2 CI/CD pipeline projects. So create a assignment, not assignment, material. And no, it is not material, it is an assignment. So let me create an assignment for all of you. So CI/CD pipeline projects. So let me upload this from the from my downloads. Yes, this is the download. Just let me upload it. Done. So project explanation, project diagram, everything is here, isn't it? So it is done. Now let us go and then discuss about the next project number 2. So let me also save this CI/CD project 1 to my okay, let me save it in the diagram downloads only. CI/CD project, but it's not a PDF. It's not a PDF. Just let me save it as a draw.io. So this also let me upload this document diagram also let me upload, because somewhere later if you would like to see, then we can go and then quickly refer from there. So just let me upload, browse from my downloads. Yes, this is what the draw.io. Sorry guys. Now let us go and then discuss the project 2. Perfect. So let me take a copy of this project 1. Let me take a copy of it, and then let us start understanding the project 2. Now in this project 2, so in this project 2, this is the project 1. One moment. Let me also copy this text to our classroom. In fact, it is there in the image, but if the image is not clear sometimes, so go and then refer the steps of project 1 in our classroom. Fine. Now let us go to the project 2. Project 2 is deploying the artifact to the Docker, deploying the artifact to the Docker container. Deploying the artifact to the Docker container. So here the concepts you will learn is Jfrog, Docker Compose, SSH, passwordless authentication. So these are the concepts you will learn in this project 2. So in project 2, once after the artifact we got right from the step 5. So once after the artifact we got from the step 5. So that artifact, the artifact that we got from the build will be uploaded to Jfrog, uploaded to Jfrog artifactory as part of the Maven deploy goal. Maven deploy goal. Artifactory will have the capability, of keeping the artifacts with it, with the version numbers, so that the tracking of the artifacts is easy. And also if we want to go back to any older artifact to deploy, we can easily do that with this artifactory, repositories versioning, versioning capability. So with this versioning capability, we can go back to any of the version. We can go forward. We can go back to any of the version of the artifact, and then we can deploy. So what I'm talking is now this flow. Now we got the artifact. We'll push it to the artifactory. Now, once we will push it to the artifactory, step 7. Let us set up Docker engine on another EC2 Ubuntu mission, and let us set up a Docker engine on another EC2 Ubuntu mission and copy the jfrog.ssh script file from Jenkins to Docker. So what I'm trying to writing here is Docker Swarm is not covered. Docker Swarm is not covered because no one is using. Don't waste your time on Docker Swarm. Rather, spend that time in learning the Kubernetes, because Kubernetes is most demanding tool now. So this is the project 2. In project 2, what we will do is, let me keep it. So in project 2, what we will do is, let us take here the artifactory, that is Jfrog artifactory. Let us take. So go here, our copy this Jfrog artifact. Let me get it and then paste it. So this is our Jfrog artifactory. Yes, to this Jfrog artifactory, let us push the code. So let me take it this, maybe from here to here, not this one. Okay, so from here to there, let us push this code. Yeah, so let us push the, what we will push, artifact. We will push here artifact with version number. For example, artifact with version number meaning, let us say Medilab preclinic 01.var. So assume this is a simple name, and 02.var, 03.var. So we'll push it to the artifactory. So this is what our step 6 in this project 2. So in this project 2 will be on top of the project 1 only. So project 1 still step 5 we will perform, right, till generating the artifact. Then in step 6, rather than deploying into the Tomcat machine, let us deploy it onto the artifactory. Then here, not Tomcat, what we will do is, let us set up the Docker engine. So let us set up the Docker engine here. And what we will do, from our Jenkins machine, let us copy the script file plus Docker file, both. You may get here 2 to 3 doubts. I will answer your doubts in a moment of time. So one is the script file. Sorry. This is nothing but jfrog.sh, and another one is the Docker file. So this is the Docker file. So this is the script file. This is the script file, and this is the Docker file. So these files will be copied from Jenkins to our Docker machine. So these files will be copied from our Jenkins to Docker machine. Right. So these files will be copied from Jenkins to Docker machine. Right. Now, once we copied these files from Jenkins machine to Docker machine, then we will execute the jfrog.ssh file, script file, which is nothing but this is jfrog.ssh script file. So that script file let us execute. So this is nothing but jfrog.ssh script file. So this file let us execute. From where? From the Jenkins only, Jenkins job, I mean to say. Now this is what the Docker file. This is what the Docker file. Perfect. Now we copy these two files from the Jenkins to our EC2 machine, that is the Docker machine. Can anyone answer how the Jenkins will have these two files with it? Can anyone answer how the Jenkins will have these two files with it? Because these two files will be in the Git repository. So when the code will be pulled by the Jenkins into its machine, these two files also will come to the Jenkins machine. So that two files, it will be copied to the Docker machine. As soon as we execute this sh file, now this sh file will do what, you know, it will go to our artifactory. It will go to artifactory, and from this artifactory, it will download the artifact to our Docker machine. It will download the artifact to our Docker machine. So once after, it will download the artifact to the Docker machine. This is what, you know, step 8. This is what step 8. Let me write the notes also, but let me complete this diagram. So this is step 8, the calling the SSH file, execution of the SSH file. This will go to the artifactory and then download the file onto this machine. Now, once we got the file, then what we will do is we will use this Docker we will use this var file and also this Docker file. Both we will use. We will use this Docker var file and then the Docker file. Both we will use and generate the image. Docker images. We'll generate the Docker images. So this is what the Docker image. So as an outcome of these two, Docker image will come. From the Docker image, then container will be run. From the Docker image, the container will be run. So this is the container. Container nothing but our application. Container nothing but our application. So this is what the project do. So this is container, and from here to here, actually I'm not able to point out, but okay. So maybe let me take little bigger machine here. Yes, and then this is the Docker here, and here is the container, and here is the Docker image. Using image, the container will be created, and this image will be created using this Docker file execution. So this one plus this one, both will create the Docker image. So step 9 is what you know. The step 9 is this one. So generating the Docker image is the step 9, and step 10 is sorry guys, I don't know whether step 10 is coming or not, but let me take the number step 10. Yeah, so let me take this step 10. So step 10 is this. From the Docker image, the Docker container will be created. So once the Docker container is created, then once the Docker container is created, then from this container, the application will be accessed. So from here, in our another EC2 machine, we gonna set up the Docker container registry called Harbor. So here we gonna set up the Harbor. Let me get the Harbor. Just in case, let me get the Harbor Docker. So this Harbor Docker, let us get. I understood. Maybe it is little confusion point for you, and then many questions you may have. Let me first complete this flow and then explain to you, then start addressing your questions. Now go here, paste this one. Sorry, just let me paste it here. So this is what our Docker registry called Harbor. So this Harbor as a Docker registry will set up, and from this machine, from our Docker machine, this Docker images will be pushed to our Harbor. So from this Docker machine, the Docker images will be pushed to Harbor using the command called Docker push. Using the command called Docker push. Docker push. Perfect. So this is what the project 2 you will do here in your part of the pipeline projects. Okay, now is it clear, right? So when the application is now deployed inside the container, then the application will be able to access from this container by the testers or maybe by the engineers, right? Or maybe the developers, right? Or maybe the programmers, I mean to say. So developers, programmers. So these are the guys. So testers, these guys will access the application which is running now inside this Docker container. They will access the application and then they will test it. Maybe QA testers and all, they will do this. Perfect, right? Sorry. Now the application is deployed here. That application can be accessed by anyone through this EC2 public IP address, and of course load balancer. Further concepts we will use, and load balancer configuration and all is out of the scope of the CI/CD because those are the AWS concepts. But at least till here we will complete on the public IP address of the EC2 machine. We will access the application, and then everything goes well. The Docker image will be pushed to the harbor. So this is what the project number 2. Any questions in this project number 2? Any questions in this project number 2? Okay, so did you understand actually what I have written?
Sir, can you please repeat one more time from step 6?
Yeah, so step 6, step 5 is clear, right? Jenkins will build the code and then we will get a artifact. Correct. Now, in step 6, what we will do as part of the Maven deploy goal, we will push this artifact to our artifactory. That is a step 6. Okay, with the versions. That is a step 6.
To push, do we need any, do we use any webhooks from Jenkins?
Not web. This is what the configuration. This is how the Jenkins will integrate with artifact is our concept. That concept let us use, let us discuss when the time comes. But okay, from here to here, using a Maven goal called deploy. So inside the Maven and in our code pom.xml file, let us configure the artifactory details so that when the Maven goal called deploy will execute, now the Maven know where to push the artifactory, so it will just push the artifactory once after it build it. I will explain that process. Now, once we got this artifactory here, then the step 7 is what? This is not step 6. Step 7 is what is, we will copy the files. We will copy the files, that is the jfrog.sh and then the Docker file. These two files we will copy to Control Z. These two files will copy to our Docker machine. So, and then once this files copied to the Docker machine, then we will execute this file on the Docker machine. So when we execute this file on the Docker machine, then we will be able to download the artifact from the artifactory to our machine, Docker machine. When this jfrog.sh will execute here, then it will download the var file, that means artifact from the artifactory onto this EC2 machines, that is the Docker machine. Then step 9 is by combining this var file and then the Docker file, artifact plus Docker file, we will build the Docker image. That is the step 9. Once we got the Docker image, then we will deploy or run it as a Docker container. That is step 10. Then in the 11th step, what we will do, we will push the Docker image to our, as part of the 11th step, we will push our Docker image to our harbor, that is the Docker registry. I'm not getting the 11th step, but 11th number I'm not getting here, but as part of the 11th step, we'll push it to the registry, Docker registry. Let us say it as the Docker images registry. Okay, so that's all from this project 2. About the project 2 theory and all, I'll update tomorrow. Okay, so the theory we will write tomorrow, and then project 3 we will discuss with the Ansible, and project 4 we will discuss with the Kubernetes. So these 4 projects we will do in your CI/CD pipeline. Any questions? Are we clear?
Quick question.
Okay.
I understand this may be out of our course, but the thing is, our business unit, we are asked to integrate our CI/CD concourse or pipeline with Terracore and Terraform. So where does this Terracore or Terraform come into picture? I mean, just a few information that would be really helpful.
Yeah. 1 minute. So Terraform is what actually here we are setting up these machines, right? So these machines manually setting up, we can set up these machines using the Terraform automation. So Terraform, we can write simple Terraform file, TF file execution. We will be able to set up all these machines. We'll be able to spin up all these machines. So infrastructure setup, we will use the Terraform. And you said other tool, right? That actually
Terracore.
I have not used even the Terracore. Actually, I am not sure about that. But Terraform is for what actually the infrastructure automation we will use.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, thanks.
Okay, folks, I'm stopping my screen share, leaving for the day. And tomorrow, let us continue with the project 3, project 4, and then let us start our Maven build tool. So whoever are interested and then newly attending for the only CI/CD pipeline, please complete your registration process, because by the Saturday, the link will be expired. Thank you so much. Thank you all.